Warning, this guide contains weeb content and is rated PG. Viewer discretion is advised.
You would not want to be getting out of here if the tank was on fire.
A few moments later. A lot of boring math later.
Now my leg is on the wrong side of the gearbox.
6 months later.
Oh bugger, the tank is on fire.
Try doing that in a T-34 or a Comet. Won't work.
The Chieftain Mark VI is a premium British Tier 10 heavy tank that is the result of Britain finally making a good heavy tank after too many disastrous attempts. Wait a minute, this isn't a fucking heavy tank. It's a fucking main battle tank. Seriously, Wargaming, you really don't know how to classify tanks. Although your tank is an upgrade from the normal Chieftain, your turret armor got a downgrade because instead of focusing on the armor, they put more fucking time into making the onboard T-maker instead. And no, I'm not making this shit up, because the turret armor is worse. But thankfully you get an upgraded hull with an upper plate that's thicker than your favorite erotic waifu. The Chieftain Mark VI apparently started the massive influx of collector tanks in the game, which means that this tank started the hordes of 10-year-olds stealing their parents' credit cards for tanks that they don't know how to even use. The Chieftain Mark VI is a tank that is ridiculously overpriced as fuck, and it proves that Wargaming will do anything to steal your life savings for an interactive tank that won't do you good. Unlike the real-life British, which after inventing a sport fails miserably over time, the Chieftain Mark VI is an exception. Despite being the subject of time, Wargaming actually took care of the tank and kept it relevant, unlike certain lower tier tanks. This thing is one of the rare, effective, and aesthetically pleasing tank to see in the British tech tree. Apart from my dearest loves, this was achieved by replacing flat waifu supremacist engineers with thick waifu supremacists who think that sloped boober armor is better. It is equipped with a glorious colonizing 120mm gun that can punch through most things you meet on the battlefield, as long as it isn't something that has a ridiculously large boober. Because this tank is British, the gun is lubed up on T, which makes it ridiculously fucking accurate and allowing you to have a reload of just under 9 seconds. Which means you can maybe permatrack and reload faster than most tanks of its tier, so you activate your foot fetish skills to track shit well. Although your tank is a heavy, it does not go like a fat jackass on a mobility scooter. Rather, it goes as fast as a British supercar, and is even able to keep up with some mediums. Some wallet warriors think that this tank can take shots just because it was a main battle tank and the fact that it has strong armor. But the Chieftain Mark VI is not like an invincible harem anime protagonist. It is not a fucking super tank. Only stupid idiots think like that. You still have certain weak spots on your front, which means you can't get yourself in the open too much, or else your cute anime waifus inside your tank will cry every time. So you use ridges and hills to effectively farm damage and carry games. Here's how you play the Chieftain Mark VI. You get rammer, protected modules and improved optics. Next you get enhanced gun laying drive, improved assembly and improved control. Next you get vertical stabilizers, toolbox and consumable delivery system. Again. For provisions, you get black tea and pudding and improved fuel. For consumables, get an automatic fire extinguisher, a multi-purpose restoration pack and a repair kit. You load mostly APCR, then premium APCR and HESH. After that, do whatever the fuck you wanna do that makes you trigger orgasm. To play the Chieftain Mark VI, you have to understand that you have a solid hard-hitting 120mm long ass gun lubed with T, which gives you a solid accuracy and a fast reload time than most tier 10 heavies. You also have a high DPM for a tier 10 heavy tank. You use this so you can either farm damage or permatrack scrubs. Like most British tanks, the Chieftain Mark VI gets 10 degrees of gun depression, which makes you flexible everywhere anytime. Combine this with a solid gun and rate of fire, the Chieftain Mark 6 can possibly have a high carrying potential. You have a decent mobility, so it's enough to put yourself on a loot position of your choice on the map, whether you want to be on top or bottom. But always try to be on top. And when some jackass shows his weaker spot, you sesh and watch damage high roll as fuck. You can't go alone on one flank. To play the Chieftain Mark 6 well, you have to back allies up, to farm damage and assist damage. You can snipe on this tank, but that isn't the only thing that the Chieftain can do. You aren't going to sit at the back of the map thinking that you'll hit something and farm damage from there. Only stupid idiots do that. When you push on a flank with hills and ridges, you can go frontline by going hell down. Depression is your best friend. But don't worry, there's always your 2D wife on your other monitor to cheer you up. If you don't feel confident, there is always the tactic of using stupid shitty idiot teammates as meat shields to farm damage. If you feel lucky, you go in and make other scrubs jealous. To make flat supremacists jealous, drive a medium tank and focus on smooth ride, smooth turret traverse. Then get firefighting, repairs and close combat master when driving a heavy tank. Next, get camo, smooth turn and clutch braking when driving a TD. And last, train soft recoil while driving a light tank. After that, do whatever shit that you want to fucking do. And that is how you play the Chieftain Mark 6, to prove Big Booba supremacy is better. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below on how you think of the Chieftain Mark 6. Click the link on the screen to watch other ridiculous Unicum guides.